There you go, a sweet preview of today's vid, which is part 4 of the implement shed build. Welcome back everyone to That Outdoor Life with Matty Payne. Part 4 is headers, milling them and installing them. And the coolest part of this entire video is the milling. And it's the coolest part for one reason. It's because the wood we're milling is the wood we cut down to create space for the shed. And here we are, as you can see, we're milling them now into the headers. It's just a really neat process. I think it's so cool to take something from your property, use your equipment to build your whatever. In my case, my shed. It's just a really neat feeling. I'm just so proud that I've been able to do this. And again, boys using their toys. It's always fun to use your equipment, right? So I don't know, maybe you've done the same. Would love to hear about it. But as we carry on, we're gonna mill, then we're gonna use the Kubota LX3310 to take the headers and put them in place. It's a lot of ladder work up and down. What you'll notice in the video, which is probably not evident, is as we move from right to left in the video, we have to do a lot more ladder work. We have to actually put a whole bunch of blocks onto the pallet forks to get the header high enough to put it in place. It actually slopes down quite a lot. It's probably about 1.5 feet. You can't see that. You never see slope in a video, but that's what's happening, and that's why we're doing that. I also want to take a second to give a big shout out to my brother Bubba. He's been in every video up to part 4, so part 1, part 2, part 3, and part 4, and he's been an incredible help in all of them. Obviously just from the work side of it, to a second set of hands, some activities need 2 people, but more importantly, it's from the mental side of pushing things forward. I'm an engineer, so I'm analytical and I think about things too much. And with construction, you just got to do it. You can't be worried about making mistakes, you just got to move forward. And so having him here has helped me move forward. From a standpoint of, yeah, you're doing it right, go at it. From, hey, maybe we should do it this way. Or maybe just a totally better idea on how to do it, but all of it has created forward movement. He's an engineer too, and sometimes you think 2 engineers together is a bad thing, but it's been very helpful. So I just wanted to say thank you, Bubba. It means the world to me that you're here helping and building things that are gonna stand, for decades. So a lot of help from him, thank you so much. For everyone else who's joined in the ride here up to part 4, thanks so much for coming along. I very much appreciate you. Would love to hear your feedback, what you're liking about the series, what you're not, what you'd like to see. And my biggest question always is I typically add a lot of music because I don't know if people want to just watch and hear the machines and the equipment making the noise. So I'd love to hear feedback from everybody on if you like the music or you'd like to hear more of the actual sounds being made by the equipment. That's a good feedback point. So if you don't mind, do that. Also, hit the like button if you don't mind. Smash the subscribe button. Leave a comment. Love interaction. I'm asking for feedback, so I'd love to hear from you. And whatever you have to say, pointers, comments, questions, whatever. And, as I always say, get outside. Right on. just so much fun using the wood mill. I have such a great time doing it. So does MJ, my dog. He was sitting there the entire time as I made those two headers, and that's what came out of that log was two headers. So that's really cool. I just love that you can take down trees and turn them into dimensional lumber with a wood mill. Again, have an absolute blast. If anyone's wondering, the dimensions of the headers are 8.5 feet long by 3.5 inches wide by 8 inches high. So that's what I need to span an 8-foot gap, which is what it is for the most part, post to post. And then, of course, with the snow load factored in up here in Northern Ontario. What you'll see us doing here now is cutting them to specific length. So again, they're not perfectly at 8 feet gaps. So each header needs to be cut to fit its spot. And of course, we got to accommodate for the overhang on the outermost post or outermost header. So that's what we're doing here. And then we're going to take them with the tractor over and raise them up and put them in place, which is what you'll see now. So this was a bit more work than I thought it was going to be, and mostly because of the supports for all the posts, because there's no actual structure support above. They're all in the way. And the second piece is the tractor actually doesn't have enough height to get the header up to where it needs to be. So it's a little bit more work. So as you'll see, when we get to each header location, we've got to take the header off the forks, bring it through the supports, then move the tractor through up to as far we can with the supports in the way without going past them, then set the header back on the forks, then raise the tractor boom up and and then get on a ladder and put the header in place. And so it was a little bit more challenging than I thought it would be. But again, thankful to have the tractor and the second set of hands with my brother. So that's what we do, and we just keep doing this all 5 across. And so what I'll do is I'll just speed everything up, and you'll see us install each of the headers. Each time as we move from right to left, I'll speed it up a little bit more or cut the videos so it's not as lengthy of you just seeing the tractor go back and forth, making the cuts back at the header pile and all that stuff. But that's basically, in essence, what we did for each one. And then we'll get to the end result, which I'll show you in a second. So enjoy it. Cue the music. Right on. There we go. The last header is going up in place. It's been a lot of fun and definitely learned a lot. Very helpful for the second set of hands, and the tractor made it a lot easier. But wow, it turned out perfectly straight, as you'll see here. It's amazing. And it all comes down to your foundations. If you get your foundations right, then you have the opportunity for everything else to be right. So as we zoom in again, even a little bit closer, look at that. It's pin straight. I'm blown away, and so lucky more than anything. This is my first time doing this, and I wouldn't have thought that I would have got it that straight. The aerial shots are incredible. Moving on, I'll put together a little compilation of doing the back the exact same way. I'll speed it up. It'll be quick, but it'll just show how I did the back. One of the things we did was we took down all the bracing on the front so we get the tractor right through to the back, and that made it a little easier. Of course, being the back side on a lean-to shed, it's also lower, so we're able to use the tractor to get the headers basically right in place. Now, they do have to go up and over the posts, but we still were able to use the tractor a little bit more efficiently because of the ability to reach the right level. So let's throw some music on and get the back headers done. Right on. As we put the last couple headers up on the back side, I just thought we'd take an opportunity to go over some lessons learned here on the project. And the first one is your foundations have to be dead on. They're the most important part of your structure. And if you don't have good foundations, there's no way you can have anything good above that. And so you really got to key on those foundations. I'm so glad we took the time to do so. So that's number one. Number two, many hands make light work. And you can see it here. Having my brother was so helpful. I couldn't imagine doing all this without at least a second set of hands, if not more. There's a whole bunch of ladder moves. There's a whole bunch of moving the headers from the tractor through into the shed area, and it would have just been so difficult. So many hands make light work. Number three, plan ahead and think about the things you got to do. Again, for me, this was the first time ever doing this, so I didn't really think about it. And if you look at the post, for example, we set all the supports for the posts up in a way that wouldn't allow a tractor to get through or to the post with the boom. And so that caused a lot of inefficiency in how we did the work. So for next time, think ahead and change how I do that. And number four, I think, is the most important one, which is, well, I guess foundations is most important, so this would be second most important. This is just a general comment. Whatever you're doing, just forge ahead. Just do it. I think we get stuck in procrastination or worry that we're going to make a mistake. Don't. Just go forge ahead and just do it. It's so important. And again, if I can do this stuff, then anyone can do this stuff. You just got to do it, though. That's, I think, so critical in being successful, or at least moving your project along, is just trying it. that's a wrap on part 4, leading us into part 5, which will be trusses, something, again, I've never done before. Just want to say thanks for being here. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope you maybe learned something. If you have a pointer, a question, or a comment, please leave it behind. I love the interaction, and we'll see you on the next one, part 5, trusses. Right on, and bye now.